Good evening, and welcome along to another episode of The Big Show here on NVTV. Once again, thank you for joining us from the comforts of our very own living room. Now, as always, we've got a great lineup of guests, haven't we?
Yes, coming up on the show, we have the Ulster Orchestra, Our Song, Our Place project. We will also be talking to Mike Baker, psychic detective. He'll be telling us all about his brand new book.
Now, he's the guy who had a conversation with Elvis, didn't he?
He did.
And he also apparently spoke to John Lennon as well. We'll find out more about that a little bit later on. We'll also be remembering the music legend from Belfast, one of the world's greatest guitarists, Gary Moore, on his 10th anniversary. We'll be speaking to Gary's sister Patricia, and also Gary Moore's superfan Alex McGreevy. We'll have some great new music on the show as well from singer-songwriter Paul Casey, and Jenny T joins us from Tenerife to review the newspapers. How great would it be to be in Tenerife right now?
Oh, the sun, the sea, the sand, the sangria. I'd just love to be there, Robin.
It'd be great to be anywhere these days, wouldn't it? But since we are still here in lockdown, I'm sure like a lot of people, we're thinking about a good old lockdown haircut, aren't we?
Yes, and if you remember, Robin, I did your haircut in lockdown 1.
Yeah, how could I forget? But it is getting towards that time again. The locks at the side are starting to get a little long, a little bit unruly. What are we going to do this?
Well, do you remember the last time I had all different types of scissors? I had the kitchen scissors, I had embroidery scissors, but I have upgraded to the real thing. It even came with proper hairdressing scissors, Robin. So let's give it a wee go now. Let's give it a wee try.
No. We'll give it a go a little bit later on off camera. But I was reminding myself earlier on about the guy that we saw last year who went viral. The old farmer.
Oh, gosh.
Who was attacking his hair with some sheep shears. Do you remember that?
It was very funny.
Let's have another look at him. Here he is.
It'll grow back in a couple of days, won't it? So nobody will know it anyway. Get some off it anyway.
So there we go, great clip, but please do not try that at home. Right, time now to take a look back at some of the quirky news stories that have hit the headlines and hit the online stories during the week. We're joined on the line by the breakfast show presenter from Oasis FM in Tenerife. It's Jenny T. Jenny, how are you?
Hi, Jenny.
Hello, I'm really well. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. So you're one of these lucky people. You're stuck out there in the sunshine. What's Tenerife like at the moment?
It's hot. It's very hot. It's beautiful. It's like 24 degrees. There's like no clouds in the sky. Weather-wise, it's amazing. Coronavirus-wise, everything's still a bit up in the air. There's just no tourists. Well, hardly any, and we miss them, as you can imagine. So it's a bit crazy, but it is everywhere. So what can we do?
We're going to talk about some stuff that's gone viral online during the week. Before we do that, I've got a little clip of a video of you that went viral a few years ago when me and you used to do the handover in the afternoon on Oasis FM, and it was actually National Tap Dancing Day, and we came up with this crazy idea to do tap dancing on the radio, didn't we?
Yeah, but with no pre-warning, so I had no tap shoes, nothing. I just did some tap dancing in the studio.
So here we go. It was a world exclusive back then. Here's Jenny, tap dancing on the radio. Today is World Tap Dancing Day.
World tap dancing, and I'm a tap dancer.
Really?
I was a tap dancer.
Can you still do it?
It's been a while, although when I first moved to Tenerife, I did take some classes again at Rick Mania Dance School.
Right, okay.
A few adult classes, and I loved it. I loved getting my tap shoes back on. But yeah, I've not done it for quite a while now.
Shall we do a first on the radio? The first time ever, tap dancing on the radio.
Yeah, but I've not got my tap shoes.
Well, you could try on the floor. It might
give it a
make a
try.
noise. Let me bring the camera around so I can get you doing this.
Okay. I'm not sure what kind of moves to do.
Just show us a few tap dancing moves.
Ta-da!
So there we go, showing the world that you're a great tap dancer.
Brilliant!
I always get put on the spot by the people that take over from me. I remember once having to do a chocolate challenge and being blindfolded and given loads of chocolate to try and like decide which chocolate bars they were. I don't get told about any of this, just get put on the spot live on air.
Especially when Robin was there as well. He would have done a lot of takeovers from you, didn't he?
Do you know, they were my favourite though, because it was always so much fun, and you used to like prepare so much for your show that we always had so much ridiculous things to talk about. It was brilliant. I missed that.
And of course it always comes down to chocolate with you, because you actually have the chocolate news on your breakfast show, don't you?
I am the chocolate queen. I have also some chocolate news if you want it today. I am the queen of chocolate. I love it. I'm an addict, but I'm not upset about it.
So what's new in the world of chocolate then?
Well, do you know the Colin the Caterpillar chocolate cake that you get from a big superstore? So I think everybody's had one for a birthday or something, haven't they? And I don't know if it's the same, but all of my friends growing up, if you had a Colin the Caterpillar cake for your birthday, everybody would fight over the face, because the face had a big white chocolate caterpillar face, and it was the best part of the cake. But they've actually started selling the caterpillar face on its own. So now you don't have to buy the whole cake. You can just buy loads of caterpillar faces. And if you do have the cake as a birthday cake, you can just buy like a few Colin the Caterpillar faces, and then everybody can have one, and it can save loads of arguments.
Gorgeous. Love it. Look forward to that then.
Let's get into your news stories then. What's caught your eye this week?
Another brilliant story is from TikTok. So do you have TikTok, guys?
Yeah, of course,
so basically there was somebody on there recently, his name's Darren Cardosa, and he asked the question, what's something you've done to a customer after they've been rude to you? So I know that anybody that's worked in customer service, you kind of just have to put up with people being rude to you a lot, don't you? And you just think, well, it is what it is. But it turns out some of these people have really subtle ways of getting back at you, and you would never even know. So basically, one waitress found that if ever anybody was rude to her, she would serve them like their breakfast or their lunch or whatever with really cold butter for their bread. So that when they went to spread the butter on their bread, they couldn't spread it, and it just mashed up all their bread. And, it was and another one was somebody who worked in a smoothie store. So if she had a customer that was rude to her, she would just blend their smoothies just like not quite enough, so that when they went to suck the smoothie through the straw, like bits would get stuck in the straw and they couldn't drink it properly, which is really frustrating when that happens, isn't it?
Definitely.
There was another one, and I very, very relatable for this day and age. Somebody that works in a supermarket. So I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but here in Tenerife, we literally can't leave the house without a mask on. But in some places, I know that it's only when you go into shops and things. So this supermarket worker, she was sick of people walking in without masks on and doing their shopping without a mask on. So she decided to carry like a little fart spray on her. So if she saw someone walking around without a mask on, she would just spray fart sprays at them.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that one.
I might get a bottle, because there's a few people wandering around now, and you just think, oh, I could do with a little squirt of that.
Yeah, because with regards masks here, you don't have to wear them outside, but there are people that do go into the supermarkets, and I've heard that shop workers get some, when they actually say about putting the mask on, they get a lot of flack. So that's a really, really good idea. Yeah. I'm sure shop workers here would be absolutely thrilled to use that. That's a good one.
Order like a big load of fart spray, and the world will be a better place for it. We'll all be back to normal sooner, and you'll be able to come to Tenerife sooner.
Let's hope so.
That's definitely.
Thanks, fart spray.
Let's move on to a story about a rather unusual marriage proposal.
Okay, yeah. So this one, this is an Irish story, and you will have to make sure that I'm pronouncing this name right, because I'm not sure that I am. So this guy is called Dermot, I think. So it's
Dermot, yeah.
Diarmuid.
Dermot, yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I thought the only way to spell Dermot was like Dermot O'Leary. Anyway, so he wanted to propose to his girlfriend, Karen, and he'd been thinking for months about the way he wanted to do it. And he said that the only way that he could think of was by using alphabeti spaghetti, which I just love, because it's her favourite dinner. Alphabeti spaghetti on toast is her favourite dinner. So, and I don't really know why, but he took the whole day off work to prepare this proposal. He took a whole day off work, convinced her that he was just off sick, when really he was preparing the words, Karen, will you marry me, in Alphabeti spaghetti. And he only needed to use one tin, he said, which I thought was quite interesting. I reckon he had a few backups just in case he didn't have enough letters. But yeah, spelt it out on toast. She came home from work. He hurried her in, was like, sit down, your dinner's going to go cold, and then revealed the slice of toast saying, Karen, will you marry me? In Alphabeti spaghetti.
Oh, but I'm surprised. He was able to get.
I don't know, because the story didn't tell me whether she said yes or not. So I'm not saying this is a good way to propose. I'm not really sure, but I thought, how romantic.
It is romantic, but I'm surprised that he was able to get so many of all the letters in one tin, because I'm sure he had a couple of tins just in case, like you said.
Yeah, because I mean, it's been a while since I've had Alphabeti spaghetti, but even to try and spell my name, it's a struggle.
Right, I've got one here that might just put you off your Alphabeti spaghetti. Okay, we're going to go to McDonald's in China, and they've invented a new burger across there, which is actually slices of, wait for this, Spam in a bun, right? Okay. And it doesn't just end there, it's topped off with Oreo cookie crumb.
What?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Spam I can deal with.
In Shanghai, you can get Spam and Oreo cookie burgers.
Oh.
I actually read this, and I read someone's post about it, and what was shocking to me is this person was only really concerned that it didn't seem like they were real Oreos because it didn't have the Oreo like copyright logo, and I was like, forget the Oreo part, it's Spam. Why are we eating burgers of Spam?
Yeah.
And the sweet and sour thing, but is like...
Sweet and sour thing works all the time, yes. But I don't know about Spam and cookies.
Yes, but does the burger, you know the way you have your burger and mayo and all in it? I mean, is there mayo and all in it?
There's mayo in it, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no, you're right, that's disgusting.
That is disgusting. It is totally horrific. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Okay, let's finish off by talking telly, some things we've watched recently. Jenny, I heard you on the radio this morning saying there's nothing else left for you to watch on the streaming platforms. You've done them all.
Yeah, because do you know what it is? I'm a binger, so I wait till like all the seasons are out, and then like I'll spend a few weeks just binging it. So for example, our lockdown series that we started watching last year, and we were so late to the party, but it was Suits, you know, about the lawyers. So there was nine seasons of that, so it was great for lockdown because we just got stuck in. But we've done all the obvious ones: Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead. We've done Power. We feel like we've done it all. So it's a struggle now to find something with enough. Like if something's only got 2 seasons, we're like, nah, we don't bother.
Well, you've got to watch Bridgerton.
I keep hearing. I've not even attempted to watch it. My other half, he won't, because it's sort of olden days, isn't it? Yeah. Like lace and all that. He won't even entertain the idea.
Oh, well, don't let that put you off. You watch it on your own, my love, because I can tell you, Lord Simon Hastings, you do not want your partner in the room with you. Believe me, because he is so hot, and seemingly their corsets are being sold, sewing kits are being sold, because huge, like people are running to the shops to get all these things, and one of the things I said to Robin, the only thing that I would be doing with my corset is whipping it off, because
raunchy. Okay, I'm gonna give it a go.
Because Simon Hastings is gorgeous. You want to be watching him.
I heard as well, do you know Queen of Gambit? Did you watch that about the chess?
We haven't seen that yet.
No. It's really good, and I heard that chess set sales like skyrocketed after that was on.
Well, there's only one season of Bridgerton, but the good news is that it is coming back for another season, and believe it or not, in the first 28 days there was 82 million viewers on Netflix. It's their highest watched show ever. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
It is. Right, we'll take a clip from Bridgerton. In the meantime, Jenny T, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And, well, have fun in Tenerife.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to see you soon.
I will. Thank you so much for having me.
Here's some music from singer-songwriter Paul Casey, In the Arms of My Love.
Been here many times before, and I'm not going back no more. In this night of sweet romance, take my hand and take a chance. I love it when we dance, love to fall, love to fall in the arms of my love. Under this moonlit night, stars align, this feels so right. Lovers lost in time, darling, put your hand in mine. I love it when we dance, love to fall, love to fall in the arms of my
Great new song from singer-songwriter Paul Casey. That's called In the Arms of My Love. And we'll have some more music from Paul and hear about his brand new project a little bit later on. But right now we're going to remember the Belfast music legend, one of the world's greatest guitarists, Gary Moore, who sadly passed away 10 years ago this year. 6th of February is the anniversary, and there's some things happening online which we'll find out about very shortly. We'll also find out about a statue for Gary and how that's getting on. Gary Moore's sister Patricia will be joining us in just a moment, along with superfan Alex McGreevy. Before that, let's dig into the NVTV Big Show archives, and here's a clip from an interview that I recorded with the Thin Lizzy legend Eric Bell, where he talks about Gary Moore and the need for a statue here in Belfast. Here's Eric Bell.
How important is Gary Moore as a musician to Belfast? incredibly important. He was a child prodigy, you know. I met him in Hollywood, Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And he was about 11 years of age. And I think his father ran the gig, this little wooden hall in Hollywood. And I was with a little band from Belfast called the Deltones then. And we arrived at the gig, and I heard this guitar playing, and walked in, and he was up on stage. Like, he had a little band, I think they were called the Beat Boys. And I watched him for a while before we went on, and I remember watching him doing Help by the Beatles. And I said, I wonder, can he get that little doodle-dee, doodle-dee, doodle-dee?
Yeah.
And he did, he got it perfect. And I went, God almighty, wow.
Yeah.
So at the end of the gig, he watched me then, and then he came up to me at the end of the gig and we started talking, you know. And we started sort of not following each other about, but if he was playing around, I'd go and see him, and he would go and see me. And quite a few bands I was in, when he left, I joined.
Yes.
And then when I left, he joined. So,
of course, he was a huge part of Thin Lizzy as well.
Yes,
wasn't he,
that's
for a while?
right. Yeah, but yeah, because he was with Skid Row.
Yeah.
Who Philip sang with.
Where do you hope the statue is going to be?
I really don't know. I was told the statue is going to cost an amount of money, but I don't know where they're going to place it. See, there was talk of them doing one for Rory Gallagher.
Yeah.
And I think putting his at the Ulster Hall, because he was the only guy that played here when the Troubles was on.
Of course.
Which, I mean, I can see the sense in that. Like, we're on this big mural in East Belfast. I couldn't believe I was on it. Yeah, I did a double take, you know. What? But it's real nice. It's a beautiful piece of work, and Gary's on there. But you know, I don't think it's enough. Certainly, like, the guy was an international musician. You know, he played with B.B. King, Albert King. He played with all the greats, and I think his blues album sold 3 million.
Yeah.
And George Harrison was playing rhythm guitar on it. I mean, you know.
Doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Absolutely.
So there we go, Eric Bell talking about Gary Moore and the need for a statue here in Belfast. Now, I'm pleased to say we're joined on the line by Gary's sister Patricia, and also Gary Moore's superfan Alex McGreevy. Guys, welcome to the show. Patricia, we'll start with you. The 6th of February. Can you believe it's 10 years already since we lost Gary?
No, not at all. I still can't believe he's really gone, but he hasn't, to me. You know, he's still around. Every time I don't know if you can see this behind me.
You can, yes.
Yeah, that's an original pastel drawing by a Dutch artist. He sent it to me because I gave it a compliment, and he gave me the pastel original. People have got that tattooed on them, that image.
Yeah.
10 years ago was the most devastating day. I couldn't believe it. My whole family were in a shock, obviously, like all his world, the world of music, you know. But for my poor mum, it's the worst.
But of course, all these years later, the music still lives on. Everybody still remembers Gary. And I know over the past few years, you've been doing things on the anniversary to remember him and raise awareness for the statue campaign as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've been doing quite a few gigs. We have plans to play Dublin and Belfast last year. In 2019, we sold out the Belfast Empire. And it was a great night. We had Eric Bell with his trio, and Sam Davison's Taste, and the Quigleys, Jerry Quigley, and my band. And it was just I couldn't believe the love for the man, you know? I mean, I could, but since he's passed away, you find people in every corner of the globe, that kids as well, still picking up the guitar because of him. It's fantastic. He was... Well, Alex, I'm getting emotional now. Alex, the super fan there. He probably knows more about his music than me, but I was brought up on Thin Lizzy and Gary. And yeah, I miss my brother. More than I miss the music, but because the music's still there. I'd love to have known what you'd been playing now.
Well, I suppose the question that everybody asks you all the time, what was it like growing up with this amazing musician for a brother?
Well, my mum was quite a... I used to say, oh, you're not as proud of us as Gary. And she'd say, oh, you're all the same to me. But obviously, I was the youngest. I am the youngest. And Gary was like 20 years older than me. And he's got a daughter my age. So he was already famous by the time I was born with Skid Row and Lizzie. And it was just normal to me. It didn't change anything to me, apart from when I went to see him play. My first time seeing him play when I was 8 years old with G-Force. I was like, wow, it was amazing. He was holding my hand, walking around. I was like, wow, I didn't realise until I was there watching him play. And he was such a character as well. I miss that. I miss his sarcasm. I miss all that. But he's still around me, and he always will be, I'll see him again one day.
So I've been talking as well on the radio a lot over the past couple of years as well about the need for a statue here in Belfast. Hopefully we're getting closer to that. Dublin has Phil Lynott, so Belfast surely needs Gary Moore statue, don't they?
Well, as Alex would say, he was saying, there's been no objections whatsoever. It's just obviously, it's been set back obviously by the COVID pandemic. But we won't stop, and Sharon's always designing T-shirts and still fundraising in the background, and we're going to bring a couple out next weekend. On that day, 6th of February. I still can't believe it sometimes,
Yeah.
But I have to deal with it. You have to. He would say, get on with it. Stop crying.
Let's bring super fan Alex McGreevy in now. Alex, where are we with the statue? Are we getting closer to making this a reality?
Well, I believe so, and I hope so. I think even though COVID put head to a lot of our plans and ambitions last year, we still made some progress, and we've brought it now to the attention of several local politicians in Belfast, and it's now with Belfast City Council's attention, and it's with the Arts Council's attention. So we had a very useful conversation with the Belfast City Council and some local politicians from the Green Party and the Alliance Party a few months ago. And what we're finding therein is there are no objections to it. It's been very much welcomed. The idea that a statue of Gary would be something that the city could be proud of, and something that would attract tourists to. And I think that it could be something that allows Belfast to open up a bit more and start celebrating people who aren't divisive and who are multi-talented and loved by many people around the world. And we have a lot of those people that we should be celebrating, and Gary's one of them. And it was just, I didn't, we actually didn't start this together. Sharon and Patricia had started a campaign for a Gary Moore statue, and I had looked into doing it myself, and that was really because it's something I always wanted, and I had experience previously with putting boxing statues in the city, and so I thought, this is a way forward for us. And when I started doing some research, I came across Patricia and Sharon, and I thought, well, you're already on the road, so I put my shoulder to that wheel, and we'll get this done. And here we are. Even though COVID has had its impact, I still think we're a good bit down the line, and we're getting there.
Am I right in saying there's a statue of Gary in Norway at the moment?
There is.
Yeah, it's been there a while. I didn't even know about it. His son, Jack, Gary's son, he posted something, and I'd heard about it, but it's actually quite a beautiful thing in Norway, of all places. It just goes to show the obscure places you might not think he was so popular. But yeah, but he belongs standing in Belfast. He's the Belfast boy after all.
Patricia, you're a musician yourself. What's your guitar playing like?
Nothing like that. Oh no, I'm just a strummer. I'm just a drummer. I do it for comfort. Just looking at a guitar could make me happy. I just play to write with. I'm more of a singer. I stick to that more than anything. But my other brother, Cliff, he's great. He's a great guitarist as well.
Let's bring Alex back. Alex, do you remember the first time you kind of became aware of Gary's music? What age were you?
I honestly, I was very, very lucky that, obviously growing up during the Troubles, there was plenty of other things to distract young people. But I was very lucky that I had a neighbour who was maybe 6-7 years older than me, who also had older brothers who, by the time I was maybe 10, 11, they were working. And so they were able to buy records for their younger brother, who was my pal. And this guy literally lived next door to me. So he could bang my bedroom wall. And we had a code that he would bang the bedroom wall 5 times if he had a new album, and 3 times to come on in just to listen to it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and he was the guy that introduced me when I talk about heavy rock and heavy metal and rock stars. He was the guy that introduced me to all of those bands, and Thin Lizzy was one of the first. And when you listen, and then when Gary went on his solo career and became more of a rock star in his own right, and I was listening to him back then, and it was just thinking, when you think of songs like Parisian Walkways, that they're the type of songs that my dad would have allowed me to play in the house. He hated the music I was into. If it wasn't Jim Reeves or Don Williams, it wasn't played. But when you say, "Daddy, listen to this guitar," listen to this song, he would appreciate it. So I've been a fan from the get-go on it as far back as I can remember, maybe 11, 12 years of age, and that was and he's always been a mainstay in my household. And my son now plays guitar and bass guitar and keyboards, and he will play Gary Moore stuff as well. And it's great to see that legacy continue.
Alex, did you get the chance to see him perform live?
Just in the King's Hall in Belfast, and I still have the ticket. And bizarrely, for Belfast, I look back at the ticket now, and there's a large Hart Lager logo on the ticket, and it was sponsored by Hart Lager. And I thought, even back then, that was a bit forward thinking for Belfast, But it was a great concert. That was the After the War tour, and it's funny that those albums, After the War and Run for Cover, I think I read a recent interview that Gary had said to somebody else that they were awful, and that he wasn't too enamored by those albums, But this was before he went to play blues exclusively.
Now, on the 6th of February, on the anniversary, you've got some things happening online, haven't you?
Yeah, we have a couple of video tributes coming from a few well-known people, and we're going to update fans on how far we've moved on with the campaign, where we currently are, and what our aspirations are for the immediate future. And as Patricia has said, Sharon, who's also on the committee, Sharon Quigley, has designed some new t-shirts, and they will be available on GaryMooreStatue.com. So these are opportunities for fans to donate to the statue and get something in return as well.
All right, well, let's hope we get that statue very soon. Alex, thank you for joining us. Patricia as well, thank you for joining us. What do you reckon Gary would have made of all this, a statue in his honour in Belfast?
Well, I do actually think he'd be quite embarrassed. He's quite a humble guy. He wasn't all the big I am, he was, but he'd be delighted, obviously, and honoured, because it's his fans doing it for him as well. It's fans are involved making this happen, and his friends, musicians. I think he'd love it, really, deep down. He'd be a bit, blushing. But he'd love it. It's where he hails from. It'd be magical. Yeah, he'd love it.
All right. Well, Patricia, thank you for joining us, and let's hope we get that statue very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to find out about a brand new project from the Ulster Orchestra. It's called Our Songs, Our Place. Helenna Howie and Patricia McHugh will be joining us on the line in just a minute after we take a little look at some of the behind-the-scenes action from the latest project from the Ulster Orchestra.
Someone you don't need. Your words, they still haunt me, and ghosts, they torment me. This wound, it still bleeds for you. Cooking recipes and reading tempts us, stuffs us, sips and quaffs. Springtime sunshine, birds, bees breeding, buzzing with convivial. Below, wide-eyed paraclete. The little kids that followed me, they just took a chance to dance. I could see that they needed to be free. One day we'd tell our children all about the time we had to stay together alone. Together alone.
Okay, let's find out about Our Songs, Our Place. It features 9 local singer-songwriters alongside the Ulster Orchestra, and Helenna Howie joins us now on the line. Helenna, how are you?
Brilliant, thank you for having us.
So it was last year you were telling us about this project, how it all came about, how it all started. Remind us how all this came about.
Yes, so we started this back last May alongside Paul Campbell. We put a call out to ask local singer-songwriters to get involved, get creative and submit their songs and their experience during lockdown. We were very excited to have 69 entries and we had a fantastic trio of mentors with Paul Campbell, Duke Special and Kit Philippa. So they had the very hard task of whittling all of these 69 fantastic entries down to 9. And I think everyone will have to agree that they did a really, really good job with the 9 that were selected, and just the variety of genres that was produced, which really goes to show what we have here on this island, and the variety of it is just so wonderful.
So as well as selecting the people to be involved, when you do a project with the Ulster Orchestra, that becomes a pretty massive project, doesn't it?
It does indeed. So when we started the project, we weren't sure how the recording would go or what shape it would form, but we were very, very lucky that come September, when we were recording, that we were able to have the whole orchestra in the Waterfront Hall, on the ground floor, all the seats removed, socially distanced, keeping everyone safe. And it was a very new way of working, both for our players and for the artists, and Paul Campbell, who was conducting. You're obviously used to the band being a bit closer to you, so having the brass section miles away, it seemed, was something for Paul to kind of get a grasp of very quickly. And of course, he was fantastic and kept everything going so smoothly and with all of his encouragement.
So let's bring in Rasha McHugh. Rasha, how did you get involved with the project?
I actually saw an ad for the project on Facebook, I think. I saw the video and I just thought, yeah, sounds like a great opportunity, and really gave me something to work towards, because I was in lockdown and my GCSEs have been cancelled, so I didn't have much to kind of work towards. So I started a song and I got working on it because I thought it'd be a really good thing to do. Yeah.
Great. We're going to play the song in a minute, but tell us about the song.
Well, I had an idea started, and then when this competition came up, I thought, right, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to get this song finished. And it's just a song about kind of insecurities and doubting yourself, because it was a bit hard in lockdown when you're not around all the people that you're usually around, and you're not around your friends. You don't have that kind of reassurance and comfort with your friends. So it was just about kind of worrying a bit and a few insecurities, but yeah.
And what was it like recording with the Ulster Orchestra on such a big scale?
Yeah, it was amazing, because I've played with an orchestra myself since I was wee, so to actually be in front of the Ulster Orchestra was really, really cool for me. And even though it was all spaced out, it still felt really big sound and everything. It just felt amazing, yeah.
All right, we're going to hear your song in just a second. Let's come back to Helenna, because the CD is available now for people to buy, isn't it?
Yes, it's available digitally, online, and through the Ulster Orchestra website. And yes, get on and get listening and get purchasing.
Great stuff, and support some great local talent, because there's so much great local music out there in Northern Ireland, isn't there?
There really is. And I think this album is a real testament to the voices that are out there. And I think as well, having Rasha as the youngest artist, she just breezed into the Waterfront Hall and was just so confident from the get-go. And it was just so wonderful sharing the stage with her. So it was a wonderful experience all round, definitely.
All right, well, the very best of luck with the CD, and thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
I know I shouldn't think about it, but it's been going round and round in my head. I'm just someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. Someone you don't need. think about it. It's been going round and round in my head. I'm just someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. Someone you don't need. Why do you bother? Why do you try? I'll not be offended. I'll not even ask you why. 'Cause I don't see the point. I promise it's alright. I feel like I've pretended all this time that you might need me in your life. But I'm just someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. Someone you don't need. Someone you don't need. I'm just someone you don't need. Someone you don't need. Someone that you don't need.
Coming up, we'll be finding out about Paul Casey's new music project.
Before that, we're joined on the line by another guest. I'm a psychic detective this time. He's got a brand new book out at the moment, One Man's Journey to Prove Life After Death and Use His Powers to Solve Crimes. We're talking about Mike Baker, and he joins us now on the line. Mike, how are you, sir?
Hi, Mike.
It's nice to see you. Good. I'm good.
Good to see you too. So we'll talk about the book in a minute. Tell us first of all about your background. When did you discover you had this kind of gift for everything psychic?
I was 19 years of age, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and there was a gentleman standing at the bottom of my bed. Now, as we had a shock, I thought, oh my God, it's a burglar, okay? And basically, I was quite scared on that occasion. Well, to simply Robin and Pauline, gentleman reappeared in my bedroom like that 46 times, and I come to realize very quickly it was my great granddad. And I thought, well, what on earth is going on? But why this? Now at that time I was a young athlete. I was a rower. I wanted to make the Olympic Games. I wanted to row for England. My granddad had been an old rower in the old days, so I figured he was there because he could see I was training like mad, and probably I was going to get there. I had no idea that this life after death thing, the psychic thing, was going to become my life, but possibly he saw that as well. So I was 19 years of age when I first knew there was life after death.
Now, throughout this whole journey as well, you've had this spirit guide who's been on the journey with you, and this guide comes from the Battle of the Little Bighorn, doesn't he?
Yeah, at the age of 23, that was the next development, really. I sat in a meditation group at home, and after a few months, with not much happening at all, then this Indian presence made himself known to me. So 23 years of age, an Indian, called Sukata, linked with me in my own house. We were in a lounge. It was a half light. It wasn't all dark or anything like that. I couldn't believe what was going on at the time. I couldn't speak. My throat tightened, and I could only say 3 words: ka. That's all I could say. I said it 3 times, and then basically this entity seemed to leave me. And that was when he made his arrival. Well, it's quite astounding stuff, quite amazing. And anyway, I learned to communicate with the Indian. He's developed my mind, rather like a mobile phone. I was a very, very fit, strong athlete, great physical perception, and developing sensitive skills, if you like, okay? And I learned that he died, apparently, in the Battle of Bighorn, Katana. He was a Sioux Indian, and he was in the fight with General Custer, led by Geronimo, the crazy horse, and the bits of the time. So as far as I've been able to establish, I've never been able to prove that bit, but I think I will. Even Sioux Carter was a Sioux Indian, yes, yeah. So that was the beginning of my psychic career, you know.
Tell us about some of the people that you've actually communicated with over the years. The big one is obviously Elvis Presley.
Yeah, the situation that occurred with Elvis, it came about. I was invited to America on holiday by some clients, and my wife and I went into Las Vegas, and I'd already made national news with the News of the World about the dead, and I walked to the Hilton Hotel, and I asked to see the manager, and the guy said, "Nobody sees." So I showed him the copy of the News of the World, talking to the dead, you know. And he said, "Wait right there," you know. And sure enough, I was in the manager's office. So the manager of the Hilton said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to go on that stage where Elvis performed and communicate with him now from the spirit world." And Mr. Lane, Don Lane, he said to me, "Michael, having read your newspaper cuttings here, I believe you could do it." He said, "But I can't put you on," he said, "because you're not famous." He said, "I can only put big famous names on." So that was the end of that. And the stage newspaper reported, "Baker wants to talk to Elvis on TV," okay? A few weeks later, a guy comes to my office in the West End of London, Jimmy Cameron, had an appointment with me. He saw the Elvis cutting. He said, "Could you meet us?" I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "He's in the same place as your mother. I've just spoken to your mother, you know." He said, "Can you be in on Thursday night? And we have a convention for Elvis." I said, "Well, I'll have to go home, talk to the Indian, and find out if we can do this." And Sioux Carter said, "Call him back at Tiffany's Ballroom, Great Yarmouth. You must be on that stage at 10 o'clock at night." And I did it. And I proved it. And 800 people saw it. I think they said it was 2,000 people there, but I thought it was more like 800. But a lot of people saw it, and Elvis was fantastic. And I had to ask Elvis personal questions because I couldn't, you know, do the general stuff. So I said, "Can you tell me something about the family?" And Elvis said, "Yeah." He said, "Lisa has just bought tickets for Lisa Marie and her to go on a cruise." And that was private information. It was true. She just bought tickets for a cruise to Japan. Elvis told me the clothes that Priscilla was wearing and what they were doing, okay, at that time in America. This was 10 o'clock England time, and he could see what they were doing in the States, okay, by a swimming pool, described the clothing, the lot, okay. He then mentioned other facts and figures. His mother and father also came on stage that night, and it was a fantastic night. But unfortunately, the newspapers refused to carry it. The main media, we all thought the local press guy, I think it was the Norfolk Gazette, I think it was called, and the chap who was there, he said, "Michael," he said, "you know what's going to happen now, mate, don't you?" He said, "No one can believe this has happened here tonight, nobody." He said, "Do it again." I said, "Look," I said, "I'm ready when they are." I said, and Elvis said that. Elvis said to me on stage, Elvis said, "Can I ask you a question? Would you do it with me again?" And I said, "Yeah," you know. So basically, I thought, here we go. Well, then, sadly, Robin and Pauline, the national media blocked the story. The Sun carried one column in the Manchester edition, But the big newspapers, for some reason, they turn the story down. But otherwise, the Elvis night would have gone around the world. But I'm ready. I mean, I can do that again. Even now I do it. Elvis has been to me several times.
Wouldn't it be great if you could do that in America, in somewhere like Graceland?
You get me the chance and watch what happens. I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you know what? We're going to put the call out now on live TV. If anybody out there is watching and wants to see Mike do this with Elvis in Graceland, get in touch with us, make it happen, and we're going to take Mike to Graceland. It's easy as that. Get in touch with us.
So, of course, you've worked with Elvis from the other side. You've also worked with entertainers and celebrities. You've also worked with the police. Tell us about that.
As you see in the beginning of the book, what turned my life completely and made the whole thing professional, if you like, was the murder of the girl, Alison Chadwick. When Sucata gave me the name of the killer, of that little girl, from that day on, okay, the Metropolitan Police knew about me. Now, I've set up an office in London. I'm seeing people, okay, and a client came to me. This was the second thing with police. A client came to me, did the appointment. At the end of the appointment, she put a photograph on the desk. What could I tell her about the photo? I looked at the picture, and Sue Carter said, this man has had an unnatural death. This man has been killed, murdered. Then I got the man's initials. It's in the book, okay? So basically, then said, he was a family friend. Would I mind if she told the police? Well, the police already knew about me, but this was the second situation. So I then became involved in the Richard Mercy murder, okay? And basically, again, produced amazing evidence. We couldn't finish that one off. We couldn't finish it, but I knew who set it up. And the evidence was there. So then other cases occurred. Okay? There were 3 ladies murdered in the Hounslow area. Elizabeth Parvasini, Lynn Whedon, and Patsy Morris. Of all 3, he come to my door. He knocked on my door because I had given the Middlesex Chronicle his initials. And the Middlesex Chronicle printed, Psychic Mike gives killers initials. Well, this guy reading that went crazy. So it sprung him. He wanted to find me, okay? Well, he searched and searched Teddington in Twickenham, but he found that in the end the road I lived on so long. He knocked on every damn door, okay, until he come to me. Now, in the afternoon, he warned me something was going down with the Elizabeth Parvasini murder. Something was going down. So I phoned the cops about tea time. I said, he's going to strike again. He's going to strike again. You better be out there. They actually said to me, oh, well, it's the weekend. A lot of guys have gone home, you know, for the, okay. Well, he didn't strike again, but 7 o'clock that night, ding dong, the doorbell. Who's on the doorbell? Who's on the doorstep? This guy. He's in the book. Are you Mike Baker? Yeah. Oh, can I see you? I knew who he was. I said, yeah, come in. And he had a copy of the News of the Road under his arm. Can Mike Baker talk to the dead? Okay. He sat in my kitchen. He practically confessed to the murders. Okay. But I wasn't a policeman, see? So basically, off he went. I had an address on him. He gave me a different address, but I couldn't arrest him, and he left, okay? So I phoned the cops, and I said, he's given me a bogus address, but this guy's come here, blah, 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 blah. This time, there was a little bit of jealousy, I think, this time, with this particular murder squad. So they said to me, he hasn't given you a false address. That's a block of flats. It's just recently been built. So he had moved, okay? The flats are not far from Twickenham Rugby Ground, okay? So we now knew where he was living. Now, basically, they never arrested him. as far as I know. They never turned him over, as far as I know. They never came back to me at all on that particular case. Those 3 murders have never been solved, okay? That man, I know, killed him. That man has passed into the spirit world. He's died since. And that man has come back and more or less told me and said, you know, it's surprising what they can do now, Michael, isn't it? DNA then, see, not to the level. So I know the killer of those 3. If you look at the records, those murders, Patsy Morris, Eden, Elizabeth Parvasini, Hounslow, have never been solved. Then there are other cases that follow that. They're all in the book. They could trust me, see. In fact, they said to me, you'd make one hell of a copper.
The other big high-profile case was, of course, we've heard a lot on TV recently about Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. You were involved in that case as well, weren't you?
Yeah, what happened there was after Sutcliffe had been on the run for 5 years, I was finally recommended by the Metropolitan Police to the Yorkshire Police. Okay, I had a phone call and help, and I said, "Yeah, I think I can do something here. Just give me some time." So preparations were being made for me to go to Leeds. Okay, and I said, "Well, look, I'll do some preparation first." I had one session, okay, on the Ripper. To try and prepare. And in that one session, took me about an hour. I said to Sue Carter, what have you got on the Ripper? And I had this, okay? He lives in a district with the initial H, okay? There's a number 6 on the door, and there's a connection with lorry driving. Now, if I had given that to the Yorkshire Police, just that would have taken them straight back to Sutcliffe, okay? So consequently, I'm getting ready and thinking, well, next we'll be there. They said, what do you want? I said, I want 10 days, police accommodation. If I can't do it in 10 days, I can't do it. That's it, okay? So that was the deal. So then this was a Thursday. Then I think it was on the Saturday night or on Sunday afternoon on the radio. It said a man has been detained in Leeds regarding the Yorkshire Ripper case, blah, 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 no more. Sue Carter said to me that night, they've got Ripper. So I phoned Millbank Studios station, police station, on the Monday. And I said, he said, Mr. looking forward to seeing you. I said, I won't be coming. I won't be coming. He said, why's that? I said, you've caught him. Oh, he said, do you think this man we've got? I said, that is the Ripper. So I didn't go. I was ready. I would have ended it. I would have settled it if I'd gone. Yeah. No doubt about that. I didn't go.
The last time we spoke as well, you actually told me that you have predicted your future and how long you're going to be on this earth for, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I worked it out. Yeah. Yes. I know, Robin. I will live till I'm 96. 96. It may be 99.
Wow.
I would die on the 9th day of the 6th month or the 6th day of the 9th month when I'm 96, but I think it's 2041.
Well, Mike, sadly we're out of time. We could talk to you all day, couldn't we? So the book, Mike Baker, Psychic Detective, is out now. Mike, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and the best of luck with the book.
Of course, if you want a copy of Mike's book, the email address is on the screen right now.
So that's all we have time for on the big show this week. A big thank you to all of our guests. I'm going to finish on some great new music, and Paul Casey is back. This time he's joined by Lauren Doherty. They call themselves Amberlight, and this is brand new. This is called Peace at Last. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you then.
I've been down, I've been broken, so many words unspoken.